Hey, what's up everybody? I'm Charlie. On today's episode, I'm going to be showing you how to make my homemade fried catfish and shrimp tacos. Now this recipe makes about 7 to 8 tacos and it is delicious. So without further ado, let's get started. Alright, here's all what you'll need to make your fried catfish and shrimp tacos. Let's get started with our ingredients. You'll need 1 to 2 pounds of Louisiana catfish, 1 to 2 pounds of fresh Louisiana shrimp that has been cleaned, peeled, and deveined. And here we have these shrimp heads and shells back here. You can always take this and make a stock with that if you like. And along with that, you will need some yellow cornmeal, all-purpose flour, vegetable or canola oil, 1 head of iceberg lettuce, 2 large tomatoes, 1 large lemon, large eggs, mayonnaise, sour cream, liquid smoke, vinegar, Worcestershire sauce, hot sauce, sweet relish, and some honey. And for your seasonings, you'll need some salt, black pepper, Tony Chachere's Creole seasoning, Chef Paul Prudhomme's seafood magic, onion powder, garlic powder, and some Zatarain's crab ball. And lastly, you will need some soft flour tortillas. And there you have it. Alright, let's get straight to it. Here we have a catfish fillet. Now we're going to start off with taking the catfish and we're just going to cut it into strips. There you go. Now if it's too long, you could always take it and just cut it in half. Like that. Now I'm going to go ahead and cut this large lemon in half. Alright, we've placed our catfish strips and our shrimp into 2 separate bowls here. Now this is a Tupperware, of course. Alright, so we're going to just sprinkle some Tony Chachere's Creole seasoning. That was about a teaspoon to a teaspoon and a half. And we're going to do the same thing for the shrimp. And we're just going to add just a little sprinkle of Chef Paul Prudhomme's seafood magic. About a half a teaspoon. And here I have a little mesh strainer. We have a half a lemon here. We're just going to take the half a lemon and we're just going to squeeze just a little bit in there. And we're going to squeeze a little bit in the bowl with the shrimp. Now if you don't like lemons in your stuff, you could just omit it. You don't have to use it, alright? Alright, now at this time we're just going to take our hands and we're just going to coat the seasonings onto the shrimp and onto the catfish. Alright, now that we got that nice and seasoned, now we're going to place this into our refrigerator and let it marinate for 1 hour, or if you want to serve this the next day, you could just let it marinate overnight. Okay, make sure you cover your bowls as well, okay? And I forgot to mention that you can also increase or decrease the amount of catfish and shrimp for this recipe if you want to serve more or less people. Alright, now we're going to go ahead and rinse off our tomatoes. Alright, now I'm going to go ahead and cut these tomatoes in half. Now you could always adjust the amount of tomatoes. If you don't like tomatoes that much, you could just use only 1 tomato. Now we're just going to take a spoon and we're just going to dig out the insides of the tomato. And all this, you can clean that out. Now we only want to use the outside of the tomato, okay? And this is how it looks when we're done. Now as for the insides of the tomato, I might just take this and put this on my stove and cook it down. Maybe I might create some tomato paste or something like that. We'll see. Alright, and what we're going to do now is just going to dice this up. And that's it. Alright, so just going to take our iceberg lettuce and we're just going to chop this up. Basically just cutting this into little strips. All right, now we're going to add our chopped iceberg lettuce into this mesh strand. We're just going to rinse this off with cold water. All right, here I have a salad spinner. Just add that iceberg, that chopped iceberg lettuce right on in there. Just a little bit at a time. And the salad spinner removes the water, removes all the water and the moisture from the lettuce. And there you go. Alright, let's get started with our sauce mixture. In this medium-sized glass bowl, we're going to add a half a cup of mayonnaise, 1/3 cup of sour cream, 2 teaspoons of vinegar, 2 teaspoons of Worcester sauce, a half a teaspoon of liquid smoke, a half a teaspoon of cayenne pepper. Not cayenne pepper, a half a teaspoon of hot sauce. I'm sorry, y'all. Hot sauce. A half a teaspoon of hot sauce. 1 tablespoon of sweet relish. 2 teaspoons of honey. A half a teaspoon of Tony Chachere's Creole seasoning. 1 teaspoon of onion powder. And a half a teaspoon of garlic powder. Now, if you have your own special little sauce that you want to use, you could use that, but for me, I make my own sauce. So now I'm going to take my whisk and I'm just going to give this a quick stir. And our sauce is ready. That's simple. Now, if you want, you can substitute the hot sauce with cayenne pepper. You could add a half a teaspoon of cayenne pepper in place of the hot sauce if you like. That's probably why I said it earlier. But yeah, that's about it. Alright, in a medium-sized pot, we're going to add 48 fluid ounces of canola oil. Now, if you have a deep fryer, preheat it to 350 degrees. And you also may need a little bit more canola oil, depending on the size pot in the deep fryer or whatever you have, okay? Now, we're going to let the oil get hot until it reaches a temperature of 350 degrees Fahrenheit. The same with your deep fryer. And I'm going to give you the time when I come back, the time, and I'm going to insert a thermometer to show y'all that it's at 350 degrees, alright? Now, it could take more or less time depending on your pot, your stove, and your deep fryer, okay? So you want to keep all that in mind when frying any type of seafood, okay, or meat. Alright, here I have 4 large eggs into a medium-sized bowl. Now we're just going to add about 1/4 to a half a teaspoon of Tony Chachere's Creole seasoning. A little bit of seasoning goes a long way. Gotta make sure everything's seasoned. Alright, so now we're going to take our whisk and we're just going to whisk this. Give it a quick stir until combined. Now let's get started with our cornmeal and all-purpose flour batter. So in this little large Tupperware, we're going to add 1 1/2 cups of yellow cornmeal, 1 1/2 cups of all-purpose flour, 2 teaspoons of salt, 1 1/2 teaspoons of black pepper, 2 teaspoons of onion powder, 2 teaspoons of garlic powder, 3 teaspoons of Tony Chachere's Creole seasoning, and 1 1/2 teaspoons of Zatarain's crab ball. I'm just going to give this a quick stir. Alright, here we have a cooling rack, another thing you're going to need for this recipe. And we have a pan underneath it, so once we finish from frying the shrimp and the catfish strips, we're going to place them on here once we're finished, alright? Alright, it's been about 20 minutes now, and as you can see, our oil is simmering, and the temperature of the oil has reached 350 degrees. Might be a little bit higher than that, but that's alright. As long as it's at 350 degrees or higher, you're good to go, alright? And again, this took about 20 minutes. Alright, we got everything ready. Now we're going to first start off with our fish, and then from there we're going to fry our shrimp. Alright, now first we're going to take a few pieces of our fish strips and we're going to add that into the egg mixture. And we're just going to coat that fish with the egg mixture. Just do a little bit at a time and shake it a little bit to remove some of the egg off, because we just want a light coating. Now we're going to add our fish strips into our cornmeal all-purpose flour batter, and I'm just going to take the lid and cover that. I'll just shake that in. Coat those catfish strips with the all-purpose flour and cornmeal batter. Alright, and from there, here's our catfish strips, nice and well coated. Shake it a little bit to remove some of that cornmeal all-purpose flour batter off, and now we're going to take them. Alright, now before we add our fish into the hot oil, I just want to let y'all know that frying times vary depending on the size of the fish, the pot, your stove, or your deep fryer. Okay, so you want to keep all that in mind when it comes to frying. Alright, so let's add our catfish strips right on in there. And I'm going to let y'all know the frying time once they're finished. Alright, it's been about 4 minutes now. And as you can see, our fish is floating at the surface and there's a nice golden brown. That lets us know that our fish is done, okay? So we're just going to remove this out of this pot here. Carefully remove it. And from there, we're just going to take it and place it onto our cooling rack, with our pan underneath it, of course. Alright, let's get started with our shrimp now. Now, if you need to make any more of the egg mixture, the cornmeal all-purpose flour batter, or if you want to change your oil that you just used, you can do so at this time. Alright, so let's get our shrimp out the way. So we'll take our shrimp and we're just going to add it into the egg mixture. And just shake it off to remove some of that egg mixture as you want to thin coat it. And from there, you can just add it into the cornmeal all-purpose flour batter. Now we're going to cover this. Now we're just going to shake this to coat the shrimp with the cornmeal all-purpose flour batter. Alright. That looks good. Now we're going to take our shrimp and add it into the hot oil. And I'll let y'all know the frying time once I'm finished. Now I'm going to go ahead and remove my shrimp out of here. It's been about a good 4 minutes now. And we're just going to place it onto our cooling rack. Alright, here we have our catfish and our shrimp. We just fried it. Now we're going to let it cool for about 10 minutes, and then from there we could get started with assembling our tacos. Alright y'all, so here we have the tortilla. This one is a little bit too big for my liking, and actually the supermarket only had it in this size, so I'm about to cut it down a little bit. So I have a country crock container. This is about 6 inches in diameter, and I'm going to just place that right there. I'm going to take a little knife and I'm going to just go along the edge. Sometimes you got to get creative and do what you got to do. For real. Bam! That's how you do that right there. Move that off. And there you go. Simple. Alright, now let's get started with assembling our tacos. So here we have 2 tacos. So one, we'll go ahead and add our little shrimp on there. This one, we're going to put our little catfish on there. I'll put a little bit of lettuce. Oh, this is terrible. Oh. Now we're gonna add some tomato. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness, this is terrible. Now we're gonna add our little sauce right on top. And from there, your tacos are ready to be served. And there y'all have it. Fried catfish and shrimp tacos made by a New Orleans native. Now I'm gonna go ahead and try one of these. I don't know which one I want. Pick this one right here. Oh, look at that. Now that was the catfish one. Now I'm about to try the shrimp. Oh, that was fantastic. It was so good. The catfish is nice and well seasoned, and the shrimp is well seasoned. Then you have the flavor of that sauce. Oh my goodness. It's really good, y'all. It's on point. So, give the recipe a try. Hey y'all, if you like my channel, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell button if you want to be notified of my videos. I have an official website for all of my recipes, including the demonstration that you just saw. Go to www.charliethecookandrews.com. I'm also on Facebook and on Instagram under the name Charlie the Cook Andrews. So until next time, take care, and I hope you all have a great day. Peace. Whew. Now that that's over, I can finish eating this.